Hi, I'm Linda Poole, and I'm so happy to have this opportunity to talk with you today about how I've been using sheep and their wool to deal with the water scarcity issues that we have in Montana. Uh, I had two hypotheses going into this project. One was that sheep can save soil if they're well managed, and that wool can save water. And the way that I do that is through good grazing management, both on the pasture and when I am pulling sheep off the pasture for bale grazing during drought and during winter. The cleaning of my lambing barn creates the base material for compost. The leftover wool from my sheep that is not going to go to the wool pool creates felt and mulch that I can use for erosion control structures. And so that's really what my project was about, managing the grazing through adaptive multi-paddock grazing and through safe to learn experiments. I was able to come up with some really good ways to manage succession, to manage the leaf area and the use of water by the plants during and after the drought. Also trying to make it through drought, an important thing is to look at the soil structure and health, biology, and the fungal to bacterial ratio of those soils is really important. And a big tool for that is the Johnson-Su bioreactor, a way of creating high fungal compost with very little work. And so I did that, kind of a typical bioreactor, except for I put a sweater on it made out of wool. So there's wool in the compost, and then there's wool around the compost to deal with temperature fluctuations and moisture, holding the moisture in. It takes quite a bit of time to build a Johnson-Su bioreactor, and I'm always looking for shortcuts, the lowest input of time and materials. So I tried a lasagna way of doing it, of composting without putting in the aeration structures in the center of the pile, again, putting the wool on the outside. So when spring comes, I'll see how that has all worked. The other main thing that I worked on is the riparian function by working on stream form. And my streams are down cut, they're straight, have a lot of dead and dying trees, have really good grazing management. It's doing well, but this drought is really hard. And so looked at ways that nature heals damaged streams, and trees die, they fall into the stream. The water flows through, it moves the wood, which then starts to catch some silt where the plants can establish, and then the streams eventually heal. And so we just kind of took those matters into our own hands, built 12 different beaver dam analogs with the wood that had already fallen into these mostly dry streams. There's water in them less than 10% of the time, not at all during the drought. And just really thinking about using the wool to improve the way those structures work and also to deal with those head cuts. And so creating felt that I can use for mulch and for catching and holding more silt in the streams. And so what have I learned so far? I've learned that sheep can save soil by good grazing management. I've doubled my infiltration and lengthened the green season by 3 weeks. The other things, we're going to have to wait till next spring to see how I did with the compost. Thanks so much for listening, and thank you to the Lohr Foundation for supporting this work.